Today we are doing something so much fun. We are printing or stamping with found objects. Now, some of the found objects that I have are Legos, lids, spools, blocks. There's all different kinds of things for you to choose, and they're over on the supply table. And I really encourage you to use several different kinds. You know, experiment with them and see what kind of prints they make. The first thing we always want to do is write our name on the back of our paper. So I'm going to put Mrs. Kearns, and of course your room number, and that room number would be either 1A, B, or C. Then you're going to turn your paper over. It's important to get that name on the back of your paper before you start painting, because as you know, it's tricky once there's paint on there. We looked at the artist Paul Klee. Paul Klee did fantastic artworks, and he used a lot of shapes in his artworks, and that inspired us. We looked at his castle in the sun, and we were inspired to do something similar. I'll show you one example that was done yesterday, and I thought it was kind of fun, using some Legos, some lids, some blocks to kind of stamp up a castle. Now, you are going to choose, you're the artist. This is important. You are going to choose what you would like to create. I'm inspired by the castle in the sun, and I thought I'd make my own castle. On the table, there are containers with paint inside, and that is for everybody at that table to use. And what you're going to simply do is pick up your found object. You're going to dip it. Now, let me warn you, if you dip too far in and get too much paint on this, your prints aren't going to be very good. So you want to just get a little bit of paint on there, and then think you're creating a structure or a building. So I'm going to think about how I want that to be. So I'm going to start here in the middle, and what you do is just kind of push it straight down, and when you lift up, you can see that that created a print, a rectangle. Now, sometimes you can get 2 or even 3 prints off of that, off of dipping it that one time. But if you feel like you need to dip it every time, you can do that. Now, that print I got from this side, but if you notice, it has all these little circles on this other side. I can turn it over. Be careful, you end up getting a little bit of paint on your hands, and notice I already touched that and got a little paint there. That's all right. I can print inside. Ah, isn't that cool? I can print going this way. Do you see how I'm building up a structure? You're going to use these things and build up the structure. Now, once you finish with one, you can go ahead and set it aside. But at the end, you're going to need to clean each one of those off and put it back where you found it. I'm going to show you what this lid looks like. I'm going to dip this lid into the paint, and I'm going to print that there. Oh, that's a great circle. That could be used for a moon at the top. It could be used for different parts of my castle. Maybe it's like a doorway. The great thing about this is you can use your imagination and see what you can come up with. Let me show you what that spool looks like. I'm going to just print that in the middle there. Oh, cool. Doesn't that almost look like I could make a car out of it? Maybe I could make my castle and then a carriage here. Oh, I'm getting lots of cool ideas. This block can be printed on this side or the end. Let me show you. Remember, you don't want to get too much paint on there. Once I print it, you can see it's just a square. You are going to have so much fun stamping and printing with these found objects and creating your structure. I want you really thinking about what you're building and what you're creating. If you want to get a piece of paper from the Imagination Station so you can just practice some of these prints on, you can absolutely do that. But I think you are definitely going to have a great time creating your castles and buildings and structures and cities. Remember, it could be somewhere that you have been before, or it could be something you imagine in your head. Using your imagination is great fun, and I'm sure you can think of lots of cool things that you can do. Have a great time doing your Lego and found object printing today.